On the 25th of May, Living TV aired the very first episode of a programme that would go on to amaze, confound and comfort over 1 million viewers every week. This is the story of the making of Sixth Sense with Colin Fry.
Hello, my name's Colin Fry and welcome to the Sixth Sense.
I came here today with no views at all on what I was about to see. I was interested. I will certainly leave today thinking a little bit more seriously about it.
Certain things he said that made me think, how does he know this?
But I felt very spooked because I'd never ever believed in. I'd had a little inkling of some belief, but I thought, well, no one's ever likely to come through to me.
I always swore that I would never do television. I was very much aware that it would open me up, not just to people sort of being fascinated by what I do, but also leaving me open to criticism, scepticism, attacks on my work, probably personal attacks as well.
Okay, we're ready, Colin.
The final thing that clinched it for me to do this series was a group of people came along, a television company came along that weren't going to try and make it look corny, weren't trying to sensationalise what I do. They just wanted to present me doing what I do and what I've been doing for a long time. I felt it was dignified, the way they wanted to present it. I knew that the way that they were going to present it, it would probably help a lot of people. It would get a lot of people thinking, talking about the subject. And, you know, I have to be honest and say, I was offered my own TV series, and who wouldn't like that? I mean, I'm only human.
Born in 1962 in East Sussex, Colin was 4 years old when he first became aware of his gift. A string of so-called imaginary friends were passing on extraordinary messages through him, and very soon his mother started to take things more seriously.
She would do things like lay a load of old photographs out on a table face down and get me to point to one and then say, right, give me the feeling about what you feel about that photograph. She'd get me to stand in the kitchen when she had like friends around, and then when they're gone she'd say, okay, well tell me what you felt around them. Very much like a psychic exercise, but it used to quite often give me a link into friends and family of hers that had passed over a long time before, so that I was sort of like getting messages from them. I've got a gentleman that's linking in with me, please.
Encouraged by his mother and a history of mediumship in the family, he developed his abilities under the guidance of Leslie Flint, one of Britain's most respected and influential mediums. Colin went on to build an extremely successful career, giving public demonstrations and private readings. But in the spring of 2002, Colin's career would take a turn that even he couldn't predict.
Well, on this particular day, I get this phone call from a lady who's now the executive producer of the series, saying, look, I'd like to talk to you about the possibility of television work. And I started off with my standard sentence, I don't do television. And she said, yes, I know, I've been told that, but that only makes me want to talk to you even more. And we exchanged a few emails and we had a few more conversations. And then I had to go off to work in Sweden where I teach. And a few more emails exchanged backwards and forwards between us. And she came down to see me along with the producer of the series. And we had a conversation, and that was on the Thursday. And I liked what they had to say. I think they must have liked what I had to say. And we were filming the pilot on the Saturday.
As soon as we met Colin, we knew, or we certainly hoped that he would be right. He already had a great reputation, and when we met him, he seemed very warm and very genuine.
The production team were so convinced they immediately shot an informal pilot programme in the house of a friend.
For the making of the pilot, we literally got together a group of friends and family, people who we knew Colin had absolutely no knowledge of whatsoever.
Do you have a woman that does for you?
An au pair, yes.
Right. Well, your grand's describing it as a woman who does for
Yes.
you. Because I don't think, au pair or thing was just not a word that she would have known or used. She's describing it as a woman that does for you. And is this correct that she'll be gone soon?
I hope not. They don't last long, but I hope not.
It might be a bit sooner than you think.
Right, okay.
All right. You better start looking around. All right. Because she's going to be off like a shot. All right, because your grand's telling me, I just need to tell you, she is talking about it.
Right.
All right, okay.
And I think I might know where she's going.
And,
Really?
oh yeah, you do know, because there's already been intimation, that's where she wants to go. All right. Okay. All right. I'll tell her. All right. Start looking around because you cannot do without someone who does for you.
Oh, I know that.
Because and I've got to say, Gran's got a lovely sense of humour. She's saying to me, and she's saying this in a very loving way, a duster is a mystery to you. All right, okay. So she's saying, start looking around now. My eye line goes to you two ladies. And you're both wearing black, so I feel as though I must be with one or the other of you. Why do I need to be talking about a fireplace or a fire surround that has a crack in it? Or a fault through it?
No.
Who's changing or altering a fireplace? Am I with... Right, I said my eye line was going that way. Okay. Are you changing or altering a fireplace? I feel as though I want to be talking about a fireplace or a chimney breast or something that has a crack in it.
It's got a fault in it.
It's got a fault in it. Okay.
When he mentioned the fireplace, I thought somebody had told him because it was so recent. The fireplace was only delivered this week and it had a chip in it, and I know it had a chip, and my stomach's been turning thinking, God, my husband's going to notice there's a chip and insist that it goes back because I like the chip. But he managed to tell me that there was a chip. I'm trying to keep it hushed up.
But it was one reading in particular that totally convinced and astounded even the most sceptical members of the production team.
I'm not quite sure whether I'm still with you. It seems to have shifted a little bit. I think the important thing to remember with the pilot is I had never met any of these people, which of course is true under any circumstance with the medium. You very rarely do anything for people that you know. It's normally sort of people that are like strangers, or they'll have been along to one of your demonstrations before. Hilary, the executive producer, I hadn't met her until 2 days prior to when we were filming the pilot. She arranged a private sitting for me to do with a friend of hers, a lady called Yoki. I have to say, even I found moving, and I've been doing this a long, long time, but I found it very moving. It's an easy thing to say, but I feel as though what they're trying to bring through to me is something to comfort a great tragedy. Some great personal tragedy that's happened in your life. The feeling that they're giving me is, although we never really get over these things, I feel as though you had a 3-year period where, I'm not going to pull my punches, it almost killed you. A 3-year period where it just devastated you. Why is your mum talking about what I perceive to be like a gold rose on a chain? Or a gold flower on a chain? I feel as though it was the last present anniversary.
She gave me a last present.
She gave you a last present. Did it have something to do with a gold flower? Because if it did, there's a similarity there somewhere as well. If you would go and look at what this was that she's talking about, that was the last present for a birthday or an anniversary or a Christmas from Dad to her.
My mum, when she was ill, my dad tells me, actually went to get me a birthday present, and she got me this pendant and he said a rose on a pendant. Now, I never really looked at it this close, but it could be a rose, and it is a pendant, and also her name was Rose in Hebrew.